The NFL season is almost over, with the Super Bowl being this week, which means we're getting closer to the NFL draft. The Bears have the first pick in the draft, and many people expect them to take Caleb Williams. I'm going to do two Bears 7-round mock drafts, one scenario where they take Williams with the first pick, and one scenario where they don't take him. I'm not going to do trades on these because they're kind of too hard to predict. So the Bears take Caleb Williams here, the quarterback out of USC. I think Williams is good, but I don't think he's great. I really don't understand the hype with him. And, if you take him with the first overall pick, obviously, you're going to be trading Justin Fields. You don't know what you're going to get in return for Fields. Honestly, if it were me, I think the Bears are better off just keeping Fields, and you can trade away the first pick and get a lot in return. Some teams who need quarterbacks, maybe like Washington, maybe the Patriots, maybe even a team like the Steelers, who are a good team but really need that quarterback to elevate their team, maybe trade it to try to get that first pick, and they'll give you a huge haul in return if you're willing to trade that first pick. But Caleb Williams here, I don't agree with this. I'm just doing two scenarios. One where they take Williams, one where they don't take Williams here. But I have them taking Caleb Williams, the quarterback out of USC, with the first pick overall. And they have two first-round picks. They have the first and the ninth pick. And with the ninth pick, they take Alabama edge rusher Dallas Turner. I really, really like this pickup here for Chicago. When it comes to interceptions, the Bears were great last season. They tied the NFL with most interceptions with 22 last year. But when you look at sacks, they were absolutely terrible. They were second last in the NFL in sacks. And if you get Dallas Turner, a great edge rusher out of Alabama, that would definitely help your defensive line group for Chicago. He had 10 sacks last season. He had over 14 tackles for loss for the Crimson Tide. I think this would be a great pickup here if Chicago is able to get Turner with the ninth pick overall. I love this pickup here in the third round. The Bears take Wisconsin running back Braylon Allen. Khalil Herbert only has 1 year left on his deal. You don't know if they'll draft his replacement early. Maybe they'll extend him or what. I was surprised Braylon Allen was available here with the 75th pick. I wasn't really going to draft him, but he's just too good of a player to pass up here in the third round. It reminds me a lot of Jonathan Taylor. He's a bruising running back who will run right through you. He's had 35 rushing touchdowns during his time with Wisconsin. He's had over 3,500 rushing yards during his time with the Badgers the last 3 years. He's a very, very young running back who already has lots of experience. This would be a great pickup here for Chicago. The Bears also have two fourth-round picks here. With their first fourth-round pick, they take Michigan guard Zach Minter. Their offensive line has been shaky at times the past couple of years. They'll get a little more interior offensive lineman help getting Minter here in the fourth round. I think he's by far the best guard around this spot. He'd be one of the best players available here for Chicago. So it's not a bad idea for Chicago to get some more offensive line help for whether it's Justin Fields or Caleb Williams. Like I said, they have two fourth-round picks, and with their second fourth-round pick, they take a wide receiver. That wide receiver is Brendan Rice, the wide receiver from USC. I think this makes a lot of sense here, and I can really see the Bears doing this if they end up taking Caleb Williams with the first pick. Brendan Rice has played with Caleb Williams. They already have experience together. Last season, Rice in 12 games had 45 receptions, 790 yards, and 12 touchdowns. So there's already chemistry there between him and Williams. This makes a lot of sense, and I can really see this happening if the Bears to take Williams. I think if they take Williams with the first pick, don't be surprised if maybe with one of their two fourth-round picks, if they take wide receiver, it's maybe Brendan Rice, the wide receiver out of USC. And with their final pick of the draft and the fifth round with the 142nd pick overall, they take James Madison edge rusher Jalen Green. Jalen Green's projections are all over the place. I've seen it from the fifth round all the way to the seventh round. To me, I think he should be an early day 3 pick. He was absolutely phenomenal for James Madison last season. In 9 games, he had 21 tackles for loss, 15.5 sacks. That is absolutely incredible. This past season, when he played against Marshall, he had 5 sacks against Marshall. I think he's one of the most underrated players in this year's draft class. That mock draft had them taking Caleb Williams. This mock draft will not have them taking Williams. Kind of two scenarios to see what would be better off for Chicago. I'm not going to do trades on these because, like I said, they're just kind of way too hard to predict and everything. But with the first pick, they take Ohio State wide receiver Marvin Harrison Jr. Many people consider him the best player in this draft, the best wide receiver in this draft, one of the best wide receiver prospects in a very, very long time. Chicago already has a top wide receiver in DJ Moore. I think DJ Moore is one of the most underrated receivers in the league. You give Justin Fields another elite receiver, he could absolutely be explosive in the Chicago offense. Marvin Harrison Jr. here will give Justin Fields even more weapons in Chicago. The Bears, like I said, have 2 first-round picks, and with their second first-round pick, they take Alabama offensive tackle J.C. Latham. They could really use offensive line help. Justin Fields has got sacked a lot the last couple of seasons. They've been one of the worst offensive lines the last couple of years. Latham's probably the best offensive tackle here at this point. Joe Alt from Notre Dame was already gone, and the Penn State offensive tackle was already gone as well. So they get protection and weapons for Justin Fields to pretty much solidify him as their quarterback of the future. I have no idea how this guy was available here. Braden Fisk, the defensive tackle from Florida State, I've seen some mock drafts have him be in the first round. I don't know why he's so low on Pro Football Network's mock draft simulation. This past season, he had 9 tackles for loss and 6 sacks for the Seminoles, getting more defensive line help for the Bears, who, like I said, were second at last in the NFL this season, and sacks would be a great idea for Chicago. You know, Matt Eberflus, their head coach, he's a defensive-minded coach. I would not be surprised in the 3rd, 4th, 5th round if they already got some skilled players in the draft, maybe to take defensive players to really boost and help their defense out this upcoming season. Another pick here that really helps their defensive line, they take Troy edge rusher Javon Solomon. Solomon was an absolute beast for Troy this past season. He had 18 tackles for loss and 16 sacks. He led the Sun Belt in sacks this past season. He's one of the most underrated players in this draft. Him and Jalen Green are 2 explosive edge rushers who just aren't really being talked about because I feel like since they played at a small school, people aren't really talking about them enough. But Javon Solomon will be a great pickup here for the Bears if they take him here with the 4th round and the 110th pick overall. Like I said, the Bears have 2 4th-round picks, and with their second 4th-round pick, they take Virginia State wide receiver Willie Drew. I think Willie Drew is one of the most underrated players in this draft. You know, he had 22 passes defended and 6 interceptions this past year for Virginia State. That is absolutely insane. You know, playing a Division II school at Virginia State, not many people, you know, talk about him, and not many people talk about small schools like that, but he was still invited to the Senior Bowl this past week. For him to get invited to the Senior Bowl kind of proves that people are very, very high on him, and people see that, you know, what he could possibly be in a great corner. He had a very nice Senior Bowl practice this past week. I think he's a very under-the-radar prospect as we get closer to the draft. I think he's one of the more underrated corners in this year's draft class. And the Bears finishing off here with their 5th-round pick. They take Kentucky running back Ray Davis. Ray Davis would be a great pickup here for the Bears in the 5th round if they have yet to take a running back. In that first mock, I had them taking Braylon Allen, the running back from Wisconsin, in the 3rd round. They get Ray Davis here in the 5th round. Ray Davis has been very underrated during his time with the Wildcats. This past season, he had 200 rushing attempts, 1,100 rushing yards, and 14 rushing touchdowns. I think this would be a great value pick of the Bears. Take Ray Davis here in the 5th round. You know, running backs are kind of like a dime in a dozen. They're very, very easy to replace. So maybe if they don't take a guy like Braylon Allen in the 3rd round if he's available, they wait till maybe like the 5th or 6th round and get a guy like Ray Davis, maybe a guy like Rasheen Ali from Marshall. But this would be a great, solid pickup here for the Bears if they get Ray Davis. So those are my Bears mock drafts. 2 different scenarios, one with them taking Caleb Williams and one with them not taking Caleb Williams. Comment your thoughts. Comment if you think the Bears should take Williams or if they should keep Justin Fields. That about does it for this video. If you're new to the channel or have seen my videos before, I would really, really appreciate it if you like this video and subscribe to my channel. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time on the Sports Dude Hines Show.